Hello, welcome to one of the most interesting topics in Java programming, that is the Java GUI. Alright, so I'm always excited whenever I'm teaching Java GUI. Do you know why? This because most students love this, especially my students. The reason is because here you can be able to demonstrate what you've learned so far and share it with your friends. The first time I built a project on Java GUI, that is many years ago, I couldn't imagine the happiness in me that I even shared it with even my mom and my dad. And I believe that as a developer, you also will have that excitement at the end of this section because you'll be building some real applications that you can be able to share with your friends and they can put it on their laptops and they will say, wow, this is made by you. Wow, yeah. So in Java GUI, the full meaning of GUI is graphical user interface. So Java has that ability for you to create different desktop applications which you can be able to share with people around you and they will enjoy that, and it can be used in any computer around the whole world. Java GUI helps you to communicate and express yourself the manner you want to. Because most of us want to build some applications and they don't know how to say it. But using graphical user interface, you can be able to build projects that will allow your user to make use of it at a particular point in time. So in this section, we are going to look at four different things in this particular section. First of all, we are going to learn how to set up the window builder that will enable you to build Java GUI projects. The next thing is that you are going to build different and simple project in Java GUI, which is just very before you can move to the next project we have. So the first thing you are going to learn here is how to make use of the components in the GUI, because the GUI is equipped with so many components ranging from the JField, JText field, JLabel, combo box, radio buttons, password field, JButtons, JTables, and so on. In fact, I can't just name all of them until we dive into them. The combo box, just like the one you see, allows you to select from different options, just like GUI selected here. Someone else can select course, someone else can select train, and another can select enroll. The next thing is you're going to learn how to make use of labels. Labels gives you the option to write just like you see here, Java GUI. Different colors, different modes, different fonts, different sizes. You're also going to learn how to use the checkboxes, just like you can be able to check boxes. Let's say you can be able to check boxes. Yeah, you can be able to check some boxes and click on what you want. In fact, it's going to be hands on deck. All right. So you're going to learn about radio box or radio button, how to select radio buttons. So all these are present in this section. We're going to learn about all of them. So there are lots and lots of things for us to learn and get our hands dirty and move on as practical Java developers. The next thing is I'm going to introduce you to what is called JSeparator. Just like I separated the first phase from the second phase, you're going to learn how to use JSeparator to do this in Java GUI. The next thing that you're going to learn is how to use the interface known as JText field. So because this is Java graphical user interface, you are going to interact with your user. Your user is ready to input data and you at the back end will collect it. So your users are free to type in here and send to you and you collect them. So you're going to know how to use the JText field very well. You're also going to learn about the JPassword field. Just like I can type in my password and no one is seeing that. You see that? It is hidden. So JPassword is going to help us to do that. The next thing is you're going to learn about buttons. Just like the first project here is a button. If I click on it, it will pop up something. You see that? Welcome to Java GUI. Wow, that is great. Welcome to Java GUI. Okay, and it goes off. Click it again, it comes up. So this is the first project you're going to learn. You master the whole environment of the Java GUI so that you can be able to use them professionally. Okay? Then I'll go ahead and close this. And the next thing you're going to learn is you are going to learn about date and time. Yes, you are going to learn how to build a real-time clock in Java. That is very important. You will learn about how to build a very important clock, and it's going to work very fine. You see, this one is working just very fine here. The date is there, the time is working, and if I can talk from now to the next 60 minutes, this will change to 33. It will now be 10:33 and no longer 10:32. If you want me to keep talking, yeah, let's go on. I keep talking until it gets to 10:33. Then we move over to the next thing we have. Yeah, we have just 8 minutes to do this, or less than that, and you see that moves, and it is just really at 5:58, 9, and you see that 10:33, and it starts afresh, and this is working just very fine, and I believe that you're enjoying this. All right, okay. After this, building a real time clock, the next thing that you're going to build is simple calculator in Java. This is not the calculator that we know. This is just the simplest one. And you might be thinking, is this just what we're going to build? No. You have a calculator here. We are getting to that. Okay? So let me just keep you because we have lots of things loaded for you. I'm going to minimize this. Let's concentrate on this. All right. If I go ahead and put is like 8 and 7, add these two things. You see that it gives you 15. Subtract, it gives you minus 1 because 7 minus 8 is minus 1. What if you go ahead and say 9 and add? You see that 17 minus 1. You see that? So you're going to learn how to build this, and at the end you go ahead and add subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus to this. Because if you learn the basics of this, you can build advanced projects. Bet me, that is what I used to become what I am today. And that is just exactly the same thing I'm giving back to you, because you are going to move from 0 level to hero level. Okay? So, after all this, I believe that by the time you understand all these things, you can become a professional Java developer. And then you can join me and move over to the next section where we'll build an advanced calculator, hotel management system, and database management system in Java GUI. Without wasting much of your time, I'm so much happy because I know you are excited right now because you've seen a lot of things we have. Then let's jump into the next video lecture and set up the window builder and kick off immediately. Thank you so much, and I'm going to catch you in the next video lecture. In this video lecture, we'll be looking at how to set up the window builder in Java projects. So this is all about Java GUI, and currently, as a beginner, I believe that your Eclipse don't have the window builder installed in it originally. So if you want to check out if you have that, move your mouse to Files and go to New. So when you get to New, move your mouse to Order, and down here you can go ahead and put this down. So you found out that you have nothing like window builder here, but if you have that already, you can skip this lecture and move over to the next lecture. But for people who installed this newly and who are following me in this course, let's go ahead and do that together. So move your mouse to Help and click on Help at this point, and here move your mouse to Install New Software and click on New Software. So now that you've clicked on New Software, move your mouse to this drop down and hit on this. Okay, so depending on the version of the Eclipse you've installed at the time of making this video, I installed Oxygen, and you can see that some might have something like Luna or Neo or any other one, or if Hydrogen is out by then, Alright, so depending on the version of the Eclipse you've installed, they are all just the same. So if you really install Oxygen with me, go ahead and check out oxygen-http://download.eclipse.org/release/oxygen. So depending on your own, you will see just exactly the same thing. In case if you're using Luna, you can see Luna-http blah 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 and co. They are all just the same. So go ahead and select this. Now that you've selected it, you can see that it's popping up some things, trying to check out some things that are necessary to install for us. And here you can see pending. And now it has popped up so many things for us here. So go ahead and drag this down, and you will be searching for general purpose tools. And here I can see general purpose tools. So go ahead and select this right now. You can open up this. So now you've opened up this, you go ahead and move down, and sometimes you might ignore selecting all these by deselecting them, and go ahead and select just the needed ones. Select Swing Designer documents, and all this and that. So there are lots of things to select here, but if I'm you, I'll go ahead and select all at the same time by clicking on this guy, and all will be selected. The problem here is that it will take a longer time for this guy to install, but the fact is that you've selected everything. So now go ahead and hit on next down here. So it is calculating requirements and dependencies, so it's gonna take just a little time. It doesn't waste much time, and this is all. Let's allow that to perform each function, and we move on again. Alright, so now that this has shown us what it can install, so you can see that I have the things I'm going to install here. It usually selects the one it will install and the one it will not install. You see, will not be installed and will be installed. And fortunately also, I have all the things I need. The Swing Designer is here, and I have my window builders and all this and that. So that is why I love selecting the general purpose tools, because I know it's going to install a lot of things I need. But some people will go ahead and select just from Swing Designer and end at window builder components. But I do select all. The fact is that I don't want to run into any problem at all. Alright, so ever since I've been working, I don't get anything like I have an issue or any other thing. So, and I would advise you to just do the same. The difference is that it's going to take you a longer time, whereas someone that selects just little, it will go ahead and install immediately. So now we've come to this point. What we need to do at this moment is to go ahead and select next. So still calculating requirements and dependencies, and this is not going to take much time again, just like the other ones. You see, here is saying reviewed items to be installed. So you can check items you want to install, and that is what I have here. So next, and here you're going to accept the agreement before you can move further. So go ahead and hit on I accept terms of the license agreement and click on finish. Yes, and down here you can see installing software. Currently it's at 26. It doesn't take much time. Very soon it will be down. But if your case is taking much time, please, you need to exercise some patience and get this done. Alright, so let's be patient enough and install every software that we need. So now this has finished installing everything that is needed, and you can see that it immediately pops up. You will need to restart Eclipse for the changes to take effect. Would you like to restart now? Of course. What are we waiting for? So go ahead and hit on restart so that we can kick off. So it's about restarting Eclipse, and we are moving. So now Eclipse has been restarted, and we have this window coming up again. So go ahead and move over here and hit on close, and this will automatically close this. So let's go back to files right now and move to new and go down to others and check this out again. So move down here. Wow, you can see this window builder is installed right now, and you can see I have Swing Designer right here. And let's check this out. I can see I have my application windows and all this and that just right very big for us here. So that is very awesome. Okay, so now that we've done this, in the next video lecture we go ahead and create our first ever application on Java GUI here, and it's going to be very awesome. I'm serious that it's going to be very interesting, because I believe that we are beginners and we must make sure that we are getting the best and nothing but the best. So go ahead and close all this, and let's jump into the next video lecture and kick off immediately with our first ever project here. Okay, so in case if you have any question concerning any part of this lecture you don't ever understand, please try to use the question and answer sections, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in the next video lecture. In this video lecture, we're building our very first project here on Java GUI using the window builder. So first of all, move your mouse to File and hit on File. So move your mouse to Project and click on Project. So now you have this. Go ahead and hit on Java Project and hit Next. So this is my very first project. I'm going to name this as Demo Project. So go ahead and hit Finish. And this is just building the parts, and it's done. So move to Demo Projects and bring this down, and right click on your source. So right click on your source, and you move to Order. This is where you're going to Ctrl N. So we are not going to package or interface as this time. So go ahead and hit Order. Alright, so now you are here. I can go ahead and close this. So after web services and between web services and XML, you can see window builder. So I believe you have this in your system. So go ahead and open this up. So you can see that. Go to Swing Designer and open Swing Designer. You know you have that already. So go ahead and hit on Application Window and click on Next. So now you click on Next. I'm going to call this first project. So this is my first project, and I'm going to call the package as first project 2. Alright, so Java usually start with uppercase. Go ahead, and that is okay. Go ahead and hit on Finish, and is building the parts, everything, and is done. So let's wait for this to come on, and you can see that you have some bunch of code just very before you for the very first time under Java GUI. So down here I have source and I have design. So this is the source view where you can view your code, and if you want to view your form, you go ahead and hit on design, and this is opening design page. So it doesn't take time, but because we made new installation, it's just taking a little time, and when you open some projects afterwards, it's gonna speed up very fast. So come on. So the design view is open for us now, and here you have the environment where you'll be working, and this is your form just here. Go ahead and double move your mouse to first project.java here and double click on this. So now you've double click on that, you can see that the window covers everywhere. So you have a larger space to work with and you have all these spaces here. And if you want to go back again, double click on it and you see that it is back again. And here you have your project explorer here. So I'm going to double click on that so that we will go with that convention and we're not going to run into problem in future. Okay, so now I have my form directly here. I have my parents. So this is what I'm going to use. I have system, and the system has its components. I have containers, and containers has some of the components and layouts, startups and spring components, swing action menu, and so on. So this is what enables you as a Java developer to create awesome projects. And we will be working with lots and lots of projects in this course. I believe that by the end of this, you will understand how the Java GUI works. So the next thing that I'm going to do first is introducing us to the usage of these components here. So when we know the usage of these components, we can be able to build awesome projects in future. So whenever you build your projects, you move your mouse to run just as we usually do and hit on run. So I want to populate this and you can see I have empty form. So this is the form I have. So just the way I told you, I have my exit button here, my maximizing button and minimizing button. They are all here. So let's put some things inside here and get this working so that we can be able to enjoy this. Now, whenever you have a form and you want to use it, the first thing you put is a layout. And as a beginner, you should concentrate more on absolute layouts. It covers most of the layouts and you will always use this in your project. So it usually have X, Y direction and width and height. So go ahead and hit on absolute and you can see that it is selected in white while others have their normal color. So when you click on this, you don't need to drag. You don't need to drag it. You see, I'm going to just move my mouse. I'm playing with my mouse. I'm not dragging anything. I'm just with my mouse here on the form. And I believe you can see the green outline on this form. So this green outline is what is showing us that we have bring in the absolute layout on this form. Go ahead and hit on this. You see that? If you want to insert it, when you hit on absolute layout, you bring in your mouse here and click on that and it will just go in there. Most people will be asking me, hey, where is the absolute layout on this form? You cannot see it, it's just a layout. So now we've seen a layout and we've known that absolute layout is the first thing we input in our forms before we start work. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and select a button. So go to components and here I have so many J's. Go ahead and hit on J button. Okay, so let's start with J button. As a beginner, that is the first thing you know. So each one you select, just bring in your mouse. Don't ever drag. It is not a drag and drop issue. Just click and it will follow your mouse to anywhere until you go ahead and hit on the form and it will drop it there. So you can see new button. Down here you can see the properties of the buttons here. So this is one of the things that you need to know as a beginner. Whenever you select a component, you're going to have the properties of the component shown on the left hand side of the screen. So that is where you will be able to alter the components of what you are working with. You alter the properties of the components of what you are ever working with. So if I want to alter the properties of button, I can go ahead and hit on any of the properties. Maybe I'm starting with a variable button. Go ahead and hit on this variable, and I'm going to change this to btn, and that is not a must, it's a variable, so you give it a name. So I'm go ahead and give it button1. I hope that is cool. So I can come back here and hit on button. So hitting on button, you can see I have variable button1. So you can go ahead and enlarge this by stretching it out. So now I have button1. I can go ahead and change the name on the button. But now we have seen how to do this on the design view. What if we want to do it on the source view? How do we do that? So move your mouse to source and hit on source. And down here, I have this button1 here. You can see the variable name I changed. Button1 is already replaced. So go ahead and change the name, and I'm going to say let me change the name of this to first project. So the name of the button is first project, and if you go back to your design view and click on this, so you can see this opens very fast. You can see that I have first project here, and it looks very tiny. Now you can go ahead and keep making changes either from the source view or from the design view. Go ahead and hit on font, so I can change the properties here. So I can click on bold. I can change the size. So like I can choose anything such as 20. I can choose the family, Time New Roman, or anyone, and I'm going to still leave it at Tahoma and hit on OK. So now you can see the first project is getting larger. So now go ahead and change the background. In case you want to do so, you can go ahead and hit on background here, and I have different colors here, so I can go ahead and choose magenta and click OK. So now you can see that, and I hope maybe you are not seeing this clear, but I believe it is clear to me. So go ahead and hit on run. Let's see this button live. So you can see the button just here, and it has first project, and the color of the button is magenta. So this is still under introduction. I believe that we are grabbing on how to change the properties of the components we choose. So I'll go ahead and close this again, come back. I can still go ahead and alter this. So I love using the color it comes with. So go ahead and hit on light gray and hit OK, and this is always better. So running this again, and this is what I have. So you can always change the button to your own color, so you have lots and lots of colors there. In case if you want to activate this button to do a particular job for you, so it is either you double click on this, or you go ahead and right click on this and move your mouse to add event handler. So now you are add event handler, move your mouse to action, and you see action perform here. So you can go ahead and hit on action perform, and it's already there. So here you can see public void action perform action event blah blah blah. So go ahead and open up this. So going back to design view, you can see that this opens very fast now, unlike in the first time we are about opening it and it's wasting time because we installed that newly. So now, instead of me right clicking and going to add event handler always, someone else will just come over here on this button and double click on this. You see that? So you've learned two ways of activating or adding an action or an event to your buttons or anything. Just double click on that and it will take you to your source view or source page immediately. Now I want the button to do something for me. Because this is our first project, let's get the button work a little. So here I'm going to say when someone clicks the button, let it pop something for us. So J option pane dot show message dialog, and the first argument is going to be now, and the second argument is going to be what is going to pop out. So this is going to be in a string value, and I'm going to say welcome to Java GUI. Alright, so this is what's going to pop up for me when you click on the button. So now go ahead and hit on run and it's going to come up. So I have this button here and it's my first project, and hit on this and you can see welcome to Java GUI. So I believe you are really enjoying this. It's always good working with Java GUI. That is where you work and you see everything working out very fine. Okay, so now that we've created our first project, go ahead and close this and close this. I'm going to teach us how to add text boxes and separators and so on, so that we can be able to play around with it and make sure that everything works out fine. So now you can go back to design, and this is combo box. I just go ahead and hit on this. So this is for drop down. In case if you want to add drop down menu, use a combo box. I'm going to bring this button down so that I'm going to show us most of the properties we use in designs. So JLabel is the one we use. You can use it to give name anytime, and I can go ahead and say change the name of this. I am not going to the source view as we've learned how to change them from there. So go ahead and change this say Java GUI. So I'll go ahead and put up this, enlarge this. You can change the fonts. We've learned that as well. Bold italic this time around, and go ahead and choose on 20. So you can see that is for JLabel. So go ahead and put a checkbox. So we all know about checkbox. In case you want to use a checkbox, we'll be using all these in this class. So we have radio button. If people want to select, you want people to select, and you want people to add password. When we're working with all these, you are going to see that. So I'm going to enlarge this. So the type of the text it takes is password. So the next thing, we have separator. Let me show. We have lots and lots of components. I might not be able to show all of them. So if you want something that divides the line in between, which we'll be doing. So you see separators, just they are like this. So text areas, you can go to text field in case you want somewhere you write in something. So that is okay. You can go ahead and alter it. So you see how the components you use in GUI, and go ahead and run this. So you see that this is my drop down. It's really nothing is inside it, and this is the password. The down one, you see that it gives you a password type, and the text field, you can write anything inside here. You see that? And my first project still working. Welcome to Java GUI. And radio buttons give people the opportunity to be able to click or select and check out things on checkboxes. Okay, so if that is not showing well, you can be able to go ahead and stretch this, and you can be able to display everything. So running it again, you can see the checkbox is visible now and radio button is visible now. If you have any question under this section, please use the question and answer sections, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in the next video lecture. In this video lecture, we'll be looking at simple addition and subtraction in Java GUI. Okay, we're going straight to the point at this moment because we've learned the basics of Java GUI and how to use it. So let's go ahead and move over to our files right now and go ahead and hit on project. So go ahead and hit on Java project and move on and put this as I'm gonna put this as mass. So I hope that is cool. Go ahead and hit on finish. So now that we have this, so go over here and move to your source folder, right click and move to order. So go to application window and hit next, and I'm going to put this as addition subtraction. So addition subtraction, that is what it is. So I'm going to copy this and put it as the package name and go ahead and hit on finish. So we have this for us. Go ahead and hit on design view right now. So I'm still going to double click on this to take the whole space, and I can go ahead and stretch this from here, or I can do that from the source view. You can go to source view, and down here your width and your height, you can go ahead and increase this to like let's put this to be 700, and that is for the width, and for the height you can still keep it at let's say 400, and go back to your design view and let's check it out. So you can see that the width is 700 and height is 300. So I believe you can do this from both sides. Now go ahead and hit on absolute layout and put it there. So at this moment we will not be explaining much on this again because we've already explained it in the first lecture on the first project where we created our demo project. So go ahead and get a text field and put it as a text field. I'm going to open this, stretch this a little. So now I can copy this. Yes, I want to teach us how to do copy and paste on Java GUI. You can see that. So put this here. So now I have this so that users can be able to type in something, numbers here. So I have this here. So the next thing now I want to put is let me shift this a little bit because I want it to look very good. So now I need a button. I need a button for addition and subtraction. So I'm going to put this, and I can change this name from here to add. Okay, I can be able to increase this button. Alright, go ahead and adjust this to bold. Can make this to be 15 size and hit OK. That is better. So the next one, I'm going to copy this, copy, and I'm going to press. I'll bring that together so that they will look very good. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to change this to be subtract. Go down here and change the add to sub. All right. So you add, you sub. Now, the next thing I need now is I'm going to get a text field again, and this is for the results to appear just below here. So for each one, you select, you add, the result will appear here. So now that we've designed this, you can go to the add button, double click on this so that you can be able to add event, the action. As I told you, you either double click or you go ahead and right click on that. So this is for add button. Now I'm going to first of all initialize int num1, num2, and the next one is the result. I can put it as ans, press semicolon. So the integers num1, 2, and ans. So I'm gonna bring this down a little bit so that I can give myself a space where I'm working. Alright, now I've done this, I will be using a try catch method so that I'm going to restrict users from inputting text, and they will input only numbers there. So I'm going to say num1, come on, try, okay, num1 is equal to only integer values. So remember, it's going to come in form of a text, then I will pass it into the integer value. So integer dot pass. So I'm going to say the variable name for our text field, because it is very important we know the variable names for the text field and all those things. So this is my J text field. So we go back here. Yeah, I've not finished my code and I'm going back, so I can comment this now, and let's go to the design view and check out this. So whenever you have this, it's gonna give you a problem. It's going back, so go ahead and put a cache, and this cache, go ahead and put exception E. So I think I've gotten rid of the problem, and go ahead and move to design view. So I want to show us something. The first one here is a text field. Let's change the variable name to add value. That is the variable, and this for the subtract is sub value. So for the add, the text is add value, and the sub for the sub value. So this is for the display. I'm going to call this to be text display. So this is for the result, and for the add, btn add button, and for sub, btn sub button. So now let's go back again, and I'm going to remove this comment here I put, and let's continue with this code. So integer dot pass int, and that is going to be so for the add button is add value. That is our variable name. The add value dot get text. So whatever that is input there, it will get it and they pass it as an integer. So for the num2 we are just getting the same thing. I'm going to copy this and I'll paste it here, and I'm going to change the add value to sub value. That is for the text box to sub. So that is the variable name for the both. So now that we've done this, go ahead and say answer is going to be equal to num1 plus num2. So this is for addition. Then the answer you got, you pass it to the text field, which is the text display, so that we can see that. So I'm going to say text display, that is the variable name for the display, dot set text. So that is the set, the integer that was passed to num1 and others and num2. So integer dot to string answer. So that is what it will display. To display the answer for us. So I'm going to copy all these, and we go to copy, go back to design, and go to the sub and just do exactly the same, because we just did this for the addition button. So now for the sub, go to the button and double click, and here is that for the button. So I'll go ahead and paste this code. The only thing I need to change is this to be the minus. So just the minus sign that is there. So for the cache exception, instead of this showing us something else, let's go ahead and populate something for the user. J option pane dot show message dialog. So we're going to write something. For the first one, it is null, and for this is going to be only valid numbers are accepted. So you can say only valid or integer numbers are accepted. Let's go and do that. So I'm going to copy this and add it for the sub cache. So now we've done this, go ahead and hit on run and let's check it out. So I think this is too tiny. Let's go ahead and increase the font. So go to design view and hit on this and go to your font size, make it bold, and you can change this to like any one that suits you. Let's go ahead and put 25. I am okay with that. And go down to the sub again and change this to bold and move it to 25. Okay, and go down to the text field, the text display, bold, and 25. I'm okay. So go ahead and run this. So I want it to get bigger. You can see that. Let's say 20 and 4. Click on add button. 24. You see that? Click on sub. You see that? 16. Okay, let's put 6 plus 4 is 10. You can see that? And 6 minus 4 is 2. Okay, let's go ahead and put t. This is not an integer and it's not even a numeric value. So go ahead and click on add. You see that? It populates something for the user. only valid / integer numbers are accepted. Okay, let's go over here and do it again. P and the sub only valid / integer numbers are accepted. Alright, so you can see that this is working very fine, and it is very okay. So I believe that that is okay. I'll go ahead and put 10, and I'll go ahead and put 30. Add 40, subtract 20. You see that? So I believe that this is very okay, and they're really enjoying that, and I believe that you are okay with all this. So now that you've learned how to do simple addition and subtraction, you can do this for both multiplication, divide, and so on. So go ahead and add more buttons to this, and try as many things as possible, okay, so that you will learn more and become better in Java. So far so good. I believe that you've learned something very good in this course, but in case you still have any question, please try to use the question and answer sections, and I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to close this and open the source code for you again, and this is it here. So go ahead and use it, and try out as much as possible as you can. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in the next video lecture. Hello, in this video lecture we will go ahead and develop a simple date and time clock. Okay, this is the third project after our first and subtraction and addition. So this is the third project we are doing in this course. So go ahead and hit on files and move to new, and hit on projects and Java projects and hit on next, and I'm going to call this date time and hit finish. So we've just created this here, you can see that, and go ahead and move to source and go over to order. So click on the application window and hit on next, and this is going to be date time, and the package name is going to be date time. So go ahead and hit on finish, and we've just created this. So we'll not be explaining much on this again because you've known this already. So go ahead and hit on design view right now. Okay, I'm going to stretch this from here. I will not be going to the source code to do that. So go ahead and hit on absolute layer and drop your absolute layer here. So you've taken the first step, and get a gel label, and you can put a gel label here and change this to, let's put this to be time, or you can call it a clock. Let's call it a clock. Okay, so now I'm going to enlarge this, let it occupy the space, because it's just date and time alone, so it gets all these spaces. So the font, go ahead and make this to be bold, and you can make this to be 25 and hit OK. So this is clock. So now we go to source code, and I'll go to JLabel. So here in JLabel, I'm going to copy the JLabel clock. I'll copy this, and when I copy that, I want to create a global variable, because this place it is a local variable, so that it can be used everywhere. So now I have, you can see, red underline everywhere because I just removed the variable. So coming over here, just above the main method. This is going to be a global variable, and paste this here, put a semicolon at the end, and private. Okay, so now you've done that, you go ahead and you go ahead above the so now we've done this, you go below void main, the public void main, that is the public method, and create another method. So that method must be above the constructor public date time. It must be above this. So go ahead and say public you call it public void, let's call it date time, or yeah, I think that is the best thing we call it. So I'm going to call it date time. All right, so now we've given it a name, date time. So is a constructor. So inside the date time, what we need is we have to create a thread so that this will continue to run always without stopping. So I'm going to say thread date time is equal to new thread. So, and now I'll go ahead inside here, I'm going to create another method, and that is public void run for our thread to run. So now, as we just did this, the next thing we need to do is, you can see that I'm having something error here. So I'm going to put this clock after this thread. I'm going to say this to be date time dot start. So it's going to start this thread here, but then go ahead and put a semicolon at the end of this, and everything is okay. So remember to put a semicolon at the end of your thread, and the date time is whenever the code is finished, it will start the program. So without the start method, your thread will not run. So now I'm going to use a try catch, because if there is any issue, it throws an error, I'm going to use the cache to get it. So I'm going to say try, I'll put this down a little, and down here I'm going to put a cache block. Okay, so now I have a cache. Inside a cache, I'm going to put exception E. So I've removed all the errors because I don't like working with errors. So now we need a loop. You need a forever loop. So it's either use a while true or use a for. So I'm going to use for with a double semicolon inside. So this is where my code will go in, and I'm going to say calendar, say cal equal to, the type I'm going to use is Gregorian calendar. I'm going to say Gregorian calendar. So this calendar, you are going to import this. So you've imported that, and then you're going to import calendar as well, so that the error will go out and it's gone. You see that? So now go ahead and put int day is equal to cal.get. You call the object cal.get calendar dot. You can use this to be day of the month. So day of the month, and the next one is int for the month. So cal dot get. So this is going to be equal to calendar dot month. Put a semicolon at the end, and int year is equal to cal dot get calendar dot year. Put a semicolon at the end. So this is for the date. Now let's go ahead and work on the time, so that the time will also work fine. So you start with a seconds. Int second is equal to cal dot get calendar dot second semicolon, and for the minute, minute is equal to cal dot get calendar dot minute, put a semicolon at the end, and for the hour, int hour is equal to cal dot get calendar dot hour, put a semicolon at the end. So now you've done this, we need to be able to display this, and what we need is this variable IBL clock. So I'll call IBL clock. I'm gonna say, you can just go over here and copy this, because each time I'm typing, sometimes while talking I make some mistakes, and I'm not happy doing that, but I have to keep talking and typing at this moment. So dot set time, set text. So I'm going to display this. So first one is, I'm going to say the time. Let me say time. I'll first of all take the hour, because that is how it's being done. The hour will display first. On your time, when you're using a digital clock, the hour comes first, and the next one is the minute. So after the minute, the next one is the second. So you can see that. Then after the second, we can now give a space and go over to date. I'm gonna say date year So can put a forward slash. So I am using concatenation. We've treated all this in this class. Month. So the next one is day. Okay. Now it need a delay time so that it can move per second. So sleep can come down a little bit so that you can see what we are doing. Sleep for every 1000 is a millisecond, it gives us a second. And go ahead and put a semicolon at the end. So now I'll drag this down so you can see the whole code here. So go ahead and run this. Let's check it out and make sure it is working fine. Okay, this is not really displaying. What it means is that we didn't call the method here under initialization. So what you do now is you copy this date time, copy. So get this, and under here after initialization, for this to work out fine, place semicolon at the end and run this code again. Okay, so you can see I have this is 8:30, and down here on my clock you can see that is what I have. And if I open this, you can see that just the same thing, 29, 30, 31, 32. So I'm going to wait for this to be able to clock over to 31. So if this clocks over to 31, that means that this is really working out fine. Okay, so it's currently at 50, 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's check it out. You see that? So once it reaches to 60, it moves to 31. So I believe that you've seen that this works out fine, and the date and time are really working out very well. So I believe that you really understood this and you really got it. Okay, so if you have any question concerning this, let me close this so that you can see the code and you can be able to play around with it in case you want to play around with it. So if you have any question under this particular project, please try to use the question and answer sections, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in the next video lecture.